Game of the year. Game of the year. I don't even know where to start. As an NBA fan, whether you are a Pacers fan or a Knicks fan, I think all of us were on an emotional roller coaster in that game. Now, I will be honest and say, as a Knicks fan, it is definitely tough to be on the side of the L. That's the game that it feels so good to be able to win and walk away from, with the win in the column. So I know the Pacers are electrified. Their morale is up, and they really snatched that win. We had like a 17, 18 point lead. We collapsed. Like I said on Twitter, we got a taste of our own medicine and what we did in that last series against the Boston Celtics, right? Winning 2 on their home floor in the same type of fashion. Tables turned. The Pacers got us. This is going to be an incredible series. You got to credit a few guys, right? I think the headline and the thumbnail of all of the videos and the things that'll go around Twitter is the Tyrese Halliburton tying shot and the Reggie Miller paying homage. Luckily it was at the time his foot was on the line. I seen that shot drop and I thought it was the game winner. But to get to that point, you have to give credit to Aaron Nesmith. Aaron Nesmith, 6 or 7 from 3 in that fourth quarter, career high in this game. The defense that he played on Brunson, I mean, he was big time, and this is why the Pacers are in the position that they're in. This is why, though I'm rocking with my Knicks, even still being down, this first game, I'm still rocking with my Knicks. You respect the Pacers because they are deep. They are one of the deeper teams in the league, and not only do they have the depth, everybody feels like they know exactly what their duty is on the floor. Pascal Siakam, Andrew Nembhard didn't have the greatest of games, but they contributed when it mattered. Andrew Nembhard, that was a big play at the end to bother that pass and disrupt it for Brunson to get a finger on it, and that ultimately, to me, sealed the game. The 94 feet pressure from the very first possession of the game was telling. Nesmith and Nembhard playing up 2 bodies on Brunson, doing everything you can to exhaust him. The start of this game, was incredible. The Pacers, we had a really good start to this game as the Knicks, and we were 4 of 7, shooting above 50% from the field. It's the start that you would want, but you couldn't even appreciate it because the Pacers came out 9 of 9 or 10 of 10 from the field, and they're making threes, and Miles Turner is hitting shots. It was a really good game. I do mean it when I say this is probably so far for me the game of the year. I got so many notes. So many different things. Again, y'all gotta excuse me. I'm on a emotional high right now, coming from a spot where we controlled that game in the fourth quarter and went on that big run, and it felt like we had legitimate control. They started to make a few shots here and there. We get into the position of the game where you're up 8 with 130 or something, 140 on the clock, and now it's just about calming the game down. When they foul, make your free throws, and these dudes went on a rampage from 3, just draining and draining and draining, and we missed key free throws this entire game. I'm watching this game saying, damn, we're missing a lot of free throws, and it came back to bite us. This was a game at 36-34 after the first quarter. We were able to close out the quarter with a 14-5 run. The one thing I will say, Mitchell Robinson came into this game and immediately made an impact on the offensive glass. I think that's something that we're going to be able to rely on all series long. You gotta let the Pacers have this one. You gotta tip your cap to them, and you gotta immediately move on. You cannot dwell in this loss. You cannot sit on this loss for too long and allow it to fester and take control. We have to, as a unit, completely again tip our cap and move on, because this is a ugly one. You know what I mean? This is an ugly one. But it's the first of 4, luckily. And we're good enough to go out there and win in Indiana to regain home court advantage and whatnot. So, again, if you can win in Boston, you definitely can win in Indiana. If you can win in Detroit, those games that we won in Detroit, I think we've been one of the best road teams in the entire NBA playoffs. So I got all of the confidence that we can regain and recapture home court advantage in this series. I just think that we have to allow this one to settle through, pass through, and after tonight, we got to move on. Mitchell Robinson, the offensive rebounds in that first quarter when he first came into the game, it was evident that we're going to have a clear advantage on the glass. And then in the second quarter, I think we did a really good job and got really good production from our bench. We allowed Jalen Brunson to have an extended rest, and I think it's going to be important to be able to have that. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that every single game, but when we do, it's going to be very big because of how they're playing him with the amount of pressure that he's seeing bringing the ball up the court. Aaron Nesmith is bigger. He's stronger. And then when it's Aaron Nesmith out of the game, you got TJ McConnell and Andrew Nembhard. It's never going to be too many times where Jalen Brunson is just, relaxed and not being bothered or pressured. So, yeah, man, we had a really good stretch throughout this game. Even the things that went well for us, it's hard to really talk about now. You look at the half, we're up 7 points, 69-62. Carlton Towns 3 of 3 from 3 in that first half with 15 points. It was really good to see him get his mojo back from beyond the arc. I think we're going to be able to rely on him. He's done really good all season long against this Pacers team, and it continued tonight. Jalen Brunson, 18 points at the half. We were +5 in the rebound category, and obviously the 6 offensive rebounds were really major for us. They bounced back, shot the ball a little bit better in that second quarter. And yeah, we go into the third quarter. We start out the third quarter, and Josh Hart in the very first possession gets an offensive rebound. And that was another one where it was like, this is big for us. You know what I mean? Like just attacking that glass and constantly putting pressure on the Pacers, who aren't, a really good rebounding team, and just trying to use that to our advantage. This was one of the first times where you could really see us controlling the game from a rebounding standpoint. And I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was a funny play in the third quarter. I got it written down. Aaron Nesmith is doing this for a challenge, and thank goodness Rick Carlisle made this decision. Thank goodness for the Pacers, of course. Rick Carlisle says, just play, right? And, I believe it was a play that was like a 50-50 call, foul or something like that. But again, it shows why it's important for these coaches and the staff to really, really look into everything before they review it, because their review was able to ultimately help them in some timely situations, whether it was the last play. You see that we used our review on the Brunson offensive foul against Nesmith. We lost that, and there was a few plays that I felt like we could have probably reviewed and got our way down the stretch. Missed calls. They're a part of the game. I talked about it in the OKC game. Like, it's tough refereeing. People have things to say about Brunson. I got some tweets on this guy. I can't believe you root for him. You're 30 and you root for a guy that's doing it. And it's like, I saw so many countless plays where Brunson did get fouled and they didn't call it. That's just a part of the game. I'm not going to go on Twitter and spaz out and create this argument now that we lost that, hey, he was getting fouled. He got hit in the throat. It's like, I just don't understand NBA fans. And matter of fact, I got to relax and I got to take a step back. These aren't NBA fans. All of y'all that get in these comments of these videos on YouTube and just sit on Twitter and spend y'all time talking about every fucking call and complaining every single time, y'all not NBA fans. Y'all are not NBA fans. Y'all are motherfucking weirdos who sit and don't want to enjoy anything in life, and you sit miserably looking for anything to complain about like a bitch. To me, that's what bitches do. Bitches sit back and complain about every single thing. I don't take that route. So again, like I said in the OKC Thunder series, and I'm going to say in this series, I'm not sitting around complaining and bitching for calls. Even in the Aaron Nesmith play where it looked like he stepped out of bounds before OG Anunoby fouled him, they missed a call. It's a part of basketball. I play basketball at a lot of different levels. I know this shit. I do this shit. That's why I get paid to do this shit, so I don't have to sit around complaining about every fucking thing as if I've never experienced basketball in my life. So I'll leave that to the motherfuckers like y'all, if any of those type of people are even watching. Most of my people in my community, we don't rock out like that, but every once in a while, because of the playoff, these videos venture out to people who may not be as familiar with how we do shit here, and they get to crying and boo-hooing in the comments or in the mentions of Twitter. Y'all do that shit over there. But over here, we just going to enjoy the game, whether it's on our side or not on our side, because at this point, it's the final 4 teams in the NBA in the conference finals playing to get to the NBA finals, and all we want is good basketball, and that was one of the best games, if not the best game of the season. So why sit back and ruin that moment as a basketball fan to complain about some dumbass shit that's been going on all season long? It was going on last season. It was going on 10 years ago when I was watching. It'll be going on next season, and it'll be going on 10 seasons ahead of us in 2035. Plain and simple. Again, can't credit Aaron Nesmith enough for the fourth quarter and the shooting performance he put on. One of my biggest frustrations as a Knicks fan was in the stretch and down the stretch, to me, to me, there were too many times where the communication wasn't clear. When we are in overtime and we just blew a lead, and by the grace of God, this dude stepped on the line, Tyrese Halliburton, my guy. Shout out to Tyrese Halliburton. By the grace of God, it wasn't the game winner. When I seen the shot go up and fall in, I was like, because I thought that was the game. In real time, I'm not looking where his foot. I thought he fucking shot a 3. And so, cool. Now my next mentality, okay, they got us. Luckily, we have overtime. Let's just win. All we got to do is win these 5 minutes, and we win the game. And we have so many plays where it's just like, and I don't even look at the plays where Indiana scores. Just as a basketball guy, I watch certain games, and I've seen this in other playoff games where it's like, dog, in the third quarter, how can two teammates not be clear on if they're switching or what the assignment is, or like even the Obi Toppin dunk? And I'll say it because I'm real. I am as real as it gets when it's time to talk basketball and be unbiased. I thought that was an and one by Obi Toppin. Mikal Bridges grabbed his jersey, slapped his arm. That was an and one. It's an and one that we luckily didn't get called, and we had a chance with 2 3-point shots at the end from Brunson and Cat to tie the game. Obviously not the greatest look for Jalen Brunson, but he's a clutch player of the year. He's made shots like that time and time again. You got to live with it. The Carlton Town shot wasn't the worst shot. I just felt like with 7 seconds left, it felt like we could have got something, something else. But, that's hindsight. If he makes it, I'm not saying that, but yeah, it was just too many times. That play, Obi Toppin got the dunk. I felt like that was miscommunication. Mitchell Robinson not sure if he's going. Miles McBride isn't sure what he's doing. There was plays where I felt like Josh Hart and whoever that was involved, is a play in my head where Miles Turner was able to get like a clean 3-point look. I don't think he made it, or maybe he didn't take it, but there was a hesitancy, and I'm like, what's going on here? How do we not know what we're doing at this part of the game? The Aaron Nesmith threes, like what's going on? So that was one that really frustrated me. I do not like when we get to a certain part of the game and you got a guy like Aaron Nesmith who's already made. He was 5 of 6 at one point in the fourth quarter. It's like, all right, once he's 5 of 6, there has to be something where we just we're all on the same page that no matter what, we're going to send 2 to him before we allow him to be free. You know what I'm saying? And it was a lot of times where I just felt like we did not have it together. Jalen Brunson and these fouls. This is another game where he is in significant foul trouble. Something that I'm not used to. This is a new thing for us. But here we are. We're going to have to figure out a way to navigate it. We have to be better with our fouls, whether it's him, whether his Cat. And again, we got good production from the bench today. I've watched this team all playoffs long, all regular season long. Not sure how much we're going to be able to rely on that outside of like the emphasis Mitchell Robinson can put on the offensive glass and the glass in general. But I think they said campaign's first game making a 3 since the Pistons series in game 1. So it's like when you hear shit like that, like how can I expect to rely on that for the majority of the series? So I don't know. So it's a tough situation because the Knicks play really good on one hand, and then obviously with the collapse in the last stretch of the fourth, it was absolutely horrendous. There's a lot of positives to talk about, but again, that small stretch loses the game and it kind of overshadows everything. It's just like the Celtics games from the last series where we played so poorly, but then that last stretch you play so good, it kind of overshines some of the poorness. And it's the exact opposite. We were actually 4-0 after leading games after the third quarter. So when the third quarter ended and we went into the fourth with a lead, we were 4-0. And that not 5-0. The third quarter was definitely ugly for both teams. They won 25-21. They shot 14% from 3, shooting 1 of 7. We shot 0% from 3, going 0 of 3, but we did shoot 53% from the field. That was also a quarter where we shot 55% from the free throw line because we missed about 4 or 5 free throws in that third quarter that eventually come back to bite. And that's why I always say when I'm going and doing my recaps, hey, This team left this amount of points at the line. They left this amount of points. I'm not ever expecting a team to make 100% of their free throws. But boy, did the Knicks miss one too many. You just make 3 more tonight, and we talking about a whole different trajectory of this night. There is no overtime. You know what I mean? Like, this game is over. It's like, oh, the Pacers tried to fight back right there at the end, but the Knicks still win, and they controlled the game. And because we could not make our free throws when it mattered the most, that is not a conversation we can have. Jalen Brunson picking up his 5th foul with 10 minutes left in the 4th. Seemed to be something that was going to be tough, but the Knicks persevered and played through all of that, and eventually went on that 14-0 run. But dog, the 17-6 run with 2 minutes and 38 seconds left by the Pacers, epic. And y'all don't know how bad and Tyrese is my guy. I really like Tyrese Halliburton. He's always showed love. Y'all don't know how bad I wanted that to not mean shit. Y'all don't know how bad I was waiting to win in overtime so I can repost it. You know what I mean? But as much of as a Knicks fan as I am, and don't get it twisted, I'm rooting for my Knicks, and it is a tough L. I'm a basketball fan before any player, before any team, and I'm all for the moments. Obviously, I wish my team won. Obviously, I want them to win 4 first and go to the NBA Finals. But if we are gonna lose, shit, give me this. Give me this. Give me the best games of the season if we are going to be on the losing end. And if we gonna win, shit, make that shit not entertaining. Let's win by 30. Let's do what we was doing. We had that 14-0 run in the 4th quarter. Can't do anything but credit the Pacers, though. One thing about me, I'm never going to be salty, man. I give credit where it's due. Basketball is an incredible sport, and when you can fight, I can't do nothing but respect it. A lot of teams fold when times get tough. A lot of teams fold, and I thought Rick Carlisle did a really good job coaching, man. Obi Toppin in that overtime, that offensive rebound, that putback dunk, that was big. That was a very big play, and I don't know if a lot of coaches would have Obi Toppin in the game at that point. You know, Ben Shepherd got minutes. He put an emphasis, they said in the broadcast, to make sure a lot of bodies played so they can get the feel of what the series is going to be like, so they can get their bodies back activated after, you know, having a shorter series with the Cavaliers. And it speaks to the type of coach he is, just getting everybody ready to potentially play in this series. And they got a lot of production out of a lot of guys because some of their main guys just didn't have it tonight. And, you know, I think that's just an incredible sign of coaching. And again, it's another one of those things where you gotta give credit and tip your cap. On to the next. Based on how Game 1 of the Thunder versus Minnesota series went, I think this is going to be the series that everybody is leaning on for the entertainment. Sign me up. I appreciate y'all. That's all I got. I'm gonna take my dog Penny out for a walk and kind of let this loss filter through. The next time we play is Friday. So, you know, hopefully we can do what we got to do and tie this series up. So when we go do numbers on the board on Saturday, I ain't got to relive this. And I told Derek, we was all in the Discord, I said, man, watching them make these shots, this is before I knew we was going to lose the game. This is when they're trying to make all these heroic threes at the end of the 4th, but we still had like an 8-point lead. I'm like, man, some of this shit giving me PTSD. I'll never forget what Tyrese Maxey did last year with that 4-point play. And boy, did I not know what was to come. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Enjoy it, man. If you're a Knicks fan, I know it's sting. Give credit. Enjoy it. It's good basketball. It's a lot more of the series to go. Don't be no bitter, negative, hating-ass, salty fan. It's cool. It's cool. I'm out. Peace.